Okay, this is QuickBooks for NGO. So I'm going to be taking you through the process of for setting up QuickBooks for NGO. Now, NGO they're popularly known as non-profit making organizations. So these are organizations that are basically established to help or focus on a particular cause that would have positive effect on the society. They actually help to channel a cause in the society. Some basically could be on improving education, some could be on helping the community have access to basic amenities, some could probably be on helping the less privileged or whatever cause that they are actually established to do. Now, whichever NGO you find yourself, irrespective of what they're actually into, they all follow the same process. And the setting up an accounting software for such NGO, there are basic setup, there are processes, there are systems, there are workflows you need to follow before you can probably get your accounting system right. Now, the model of NGO we are going to be used here is what we call the Child Care Initiative. Now, like I said, irrespective of the NGO that you work with, it's still the same procedure. As long as you rely on donors for grants, you rely on donor to help fund certain projects, you incur expenses in certain areas, maybe when you are embarking on a project that would probably have a community impact, and as long as you also have a bank account. Now, this will be a more expanded process setup. I mean, in the sense that we are going to be assuming that this particular NGO, they have international donor. So apart from the local donor, which we are going to look at, we're going to assume that you have international donor, like for example Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the IMF, the World Bank, and then you have local donor, probably like the private sector. So we are going to be looking at that model, so that in case you find yourself in an NGO that's probably more expanded, or an NGO with international presence, then you could probably follow the process here. But if you find yourself in an NGO that is probably based locally, fine, the same thing serves. But why I actually assume an NGO to be that big is because I wanted to help you understand the whole process of setting up NGO in QuickBooks. So that's exactly why I am going for an international NGO. So childcare initiative, from my assumption, it's basically an NGO that focuses on helping the child, the little child that lacks parental support, parental care, and they probably get support from international donor and local donor. So if they get support from international donor, there we are going to be looking at bank accounts beyond the naira. We are going to be looking at accounts in foreign currencies. So the first thing we need to do is to activate our foreign currency in QuickBooks. So this is the foundation of our setup. Everything we are going to be doing will be resting on this setup. So our advice, you follow the step that I'm going to be sharing here, and then understand how to set up QuickBooks for an NGO. So the first thing we are looking at is the foreign currency. So let's set up foreign currency. So to activate foreign currencies in QuickBooks, you go to Edit, Preferences, then you click on multiple currency. So by default, when you set up your company account in QuickBooks, you will see that the system assumes that you only use one currency. So you need to activate multiple currencies in QuickBooks. So that tells the system that beyond the local currency, you also do businesses in other foreign currencies. So we go to currencies, then at this top here, you select company preferences. Now you could see here, no, I use only one currency. So system assume by default that you use only one currency. So we are going to activate multiple currencies by checking yes, I use multiple currencies. When you check that, this window will pop up. You're about to turn on multiple currencies. You click on yes. So what is our home currency? Our home currency is Nigerian naira. If you click on this, you will think that the system is limited to US dollar, Japanese yen, euro, and Canadian dollars. No, you can actually add more currency. So you click on view more currency. So that will give you a more expanded option. So you select the Nigerian naira, you make it active, and then you click on yes. So when you click on yes, the next thing is click on OK. So you wait for the system to activate multiple currencies. All right, so we have the multiple currencies already activated in QuickBooks. So I'm waiting for the windows to set up so we can probably close all this. All right, so you don't need this. Close this window that are popping up. All right, fine. So we've activated multiple currencies. Once you activate multiple currencies, the first thing you need to do is to add your bank account. So all the bank account that the NGO operates, both local accounts and foreign accounts, you're going to add them in QuickBooks. So if you find yourself in an NGO, the first thing you need to do is ask them to give you a list of all their banks and their account balances. So to add your bank account, you go to list, you select chart of account. In my video, I always emphasize chart of account. Why? Because this is where your setup for each of the industries that you will find yourself in is done. So the way I'm going to set up QuickBooks for an NGO is not going to be the same thing as the way I would do set up for a property management company. It's not going to be the same thing as the way as I would do set up for a real estate company or a bureau de change or retail and manufacturing. And besides, credit and trust, you can see these are different line of businesses with their unique reporting needs. And because your reporting largely depends on how you set up a chart of account, it's important for you to pay attention to your chart of account. Chart of account helps you to categorize your transactions, either income, expenses, assets, or liability. So for NGO, our income head, it's not going to be the same thing as that of a retail manufacturing company. Income head for retail manufacturing company will be sales of goods and services. Probably if they render sales of their products. If they render services, you have service income. But for an NGO, you will see something like donation, you see something like grants. So just like what we have here. So under our income head, you will see something like that direct public support, which is corporate contribution, gift in kind, individual business contributions, and you can see these are different account heads that makes up our income. You can see program income, membership dues, and all that. So for NGO, what makes up your income head, it may not be the same thing as that of a retail business. So and for you to add more income heads, you need to pay attention to the account type. Like I said, system would not recognize corporate contribution as an income because the name is corporate contribution. No, what the system will use to recognize this account head as an income is a type, which is income. So when I'm adding an account name called corporate contribution, you need to ensure that the type is income. Then the system automatically picks it as an income head. So likewise, my bank too. So if I want to add a bank, I'll go to account, new. Now, if I'm going to add a bank, system would not automatically assume that that account head is a bank because the name is GTB or the name is EcoBank. No, system will only treat that account to be a banking transaction if the account type that I select is bank. So when I'm adding a new bank, I need to ensure that the account type I select is what? Bank. If I'm adding an income head, I need to check on income. If it's expenses, I need to check on expense head. So for this purpose, we are going to be adding our bank account, so which means our account type will be bank. So any account name I add under this account type called bank will be treated as a banking transaction. And already you could even see under this description, create one for each cash account, such as petty cash, checking account, savings account, money market. So whatever account head you want to add, as long as it's a banking transaction, ensure you select bank under the account type. So you click on continue. So our account name is Zenith Bank. This is a local currency. Now, we're going to do something again. Some NGO operate multiple accounts in a bank. So we're going to be adding multiple accounts. So assuming we operate 3 or 4 accounts in Zenith Bank, how do we add them? So the way we're going to add them, we're going to add them in such a way that the system will show us the individual balances in each of the accounts, and then it will also show us the total amount we have in that bank. So when you add Zenith Bank, you do not have to enter the balance yet. Now the currency should be in Naira, which is our home currency. So what you would do is you click on Save and New. So you now add the first account. Let's say it's Child Care Support 1. Or okay, let's use current account 1. Current account 1, which will be a sub account of Zenith Bank. Then the opening balance is what you have in that account. So assuming we have 23 million in that account, that will be asset. Now this is the opening balance date. The opening balance date here is the date you're migrating from your manual accounting or other accounting software to QuickBooks. So if I'm going to be setting up my opening balance date, it could be the beginning of our financial year, or it could be the current date. So now that we are in 15th of May, I could say, okay, my opening balance will be as at the end of 15th of May. So if I say end of 15th of May, it means that I want to pick the amount I have in the bank as at the close of today. That's what it means. If I'm picking the beginning of the financial year, it has to be the end of the previous financial year. So if our financial year runs from January to December, so my opening balance will be at the balance as at 31st of December 2019, which is the opening balance for 2020. And your opening balance has to be the same across all your bank and your account heads. So if I pick 15th, it would not make sense for me, to be wrong for me to pick another bank and say 25, pick another bank and say 10. No, every balances has to be as at this 15th of May 2020. So I've added this. I'll click Save and New. Save and New means that I want the system to save this and then give me the same window without necessarily going back again to add new or go to chart of accounts. So I'll click Save and New. Then I'll add my current account 2, which will be sub account of the same Zenith Bank. Then I'll add my balance. I'll say I have 12,500,000 naira in that account. So the ending balance has to be same 15th. Okay, save and new, and I'm adding current account 3, which will be a sub account of Zenith Bank, and then this will be 45 million. The opening balance has to be at the same date. Then you click save and close. So from our setup, you will see that on the Zenith Bank, we have current account 1, 23 million, current account 2, 12.5 million, current account 3, 45. So the addition of all this will give us the total in Zenith Bank. So that's how you set up for each of the current account or you operate in the bank. Now, if we don't have one account in the bank, let's use Access for instance. You go to Accounts, New. Remember your account type, bank. That's what we're adding, so that the account head will be treated as banking transaction. So here we will then add Access Bank. Now we only have one account in Access Bank, so you click opening balance. So opening balance on that account is 7 million naira. As at the same date, 15th, you click on OK, save and close. So this is how you add all the bank accounts you operate in the bank. Now this is for local accounts. What if we operate a foreign account too? How do we add our foreign account? The same procedure, but the difference is now going to be in the currency. Like all these accounts you see here, they are in Naira, which is our home currency. So we're going to add a foreign currency account, new, bank, the same account type. So the bank, assuming it's First Bank. Now the currency is going to be USD. So which means this is a DOM account, it's a foreign currency account. So you enter opening balance. So assuming we have 50,000 US dollar in that account, when to be assert that same 15th. Now after that same 15, what is the rate of dollar to naira. So if rate of dollar to naira is 4.43, you post 4.43 here. Now, when you are adding your foreign currency, you need to note something here. If your home currency had been in USD, euro, or pounds, you don't have to update your exchange rate like this. Why? Because the rate in these three currencies, they are relatively stable. They don't have multiple markets, just like we do here in Nigeria. So you have the option of downloading your rate online. But here in Nigeria, where we have different rates, we have the CBN rate, interbank rate, black market rate. Everybody has their own rate. So it will make sense for you to be downloading rate online, because that may probably distort your report. So system provides for exchange rates update, so you can actually add your exchange rate here. So I'm going to show you again how to update your exchange rate, either on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly, so that as you do foreign exchange transaction, when you buy dollars or when you convert dollar to naira, you can update the rate of exchange yourself. So I will show you under the exchange rate update. So let's move on. We are still adding our foreign currency account. So you click on this. So if I'm going to be setting up so if I'm going to be generating my report, system will display the naira equivalent of this 50,000 US dollar at our exchange rate, which is 443 naira. So I've added my foreign currency. Now, assuming I have foreign currency in other banks too, I can as well add the foreign currency. So beyond the USD, we can also add our euro account. So let's say we have First Bank euro account. You click on the same way you add your bank, ensure that the account type is bank, which is what you have here. So you enter First Bank. Now the difference will now be in currency. So this is euro account. I'll select euro. So how much do we have in that account? We have 34,000 euro. So you click ending date as at the same 15. Now euro it's 440. Let's say 460. Then you click OK. You click save and close. Sorry, it says name already in use. So let's differentiate this First Bank euro, because we already have one First Bank USD. So let's change this to First Bank USD. You right click, you click on edit accounts, then say First Bank USD. So you can also add your pounds account, First Bank pounds account. It's not also compulsory that all your DOM account must be in the same bank. They can be in different bank accounts. So as long as you've added them properly, there's no problem. So that's for the bank. This is very, very important. Now, how do you update your rates of exchange in this account? To update your rate of exchange, you go to company, you see manage currency, you then select currency list. Now, like I said before, if your home currency had been USD, euro, or pounds, you select download exchange rate. So system automatically download your rate online. So but because our home currency, it's not euro, it's not pound, neither is it dollar, so I'm going to select currency list. So under currency list, you have the list of all the currencies here. So all you need to do is you go down to select the US dollar. This is US dollar. Double click on this. System will then display where you can update your rate. So our rate as at today, which is 15th, is 443. So I will come here, I'll enter 443. So whatever foreign currency transaction I post on the system as at 15th, system is going to use 443 to convert that foreign currency account into naira. Now, if I come down to this other row here to add my new rate, maybe as at 16, system will check the new rate against the old rate. Now, the new rate against the old rate is going to lead me to what I call unrealized gain or loss. Now, our opening balance in a bank is 50,000 USD. At what rate? 443. So if the rate changes to 450, we have an unrealized gain. How does the unrealized gain come about? That amount that we have in the bank, if we are to now exchange it at the current rate, is going to lead to a gain. So that's why the system would always need you to update your rate, so that it will show you the effect of exchange rate gain. So let's move on. I'm going to demonstrate this later. Okay, so aside from the bank account that we've added, there are other things you can do on your chart of accounts. You can add your income heads, like I've explained. We have a lot of income heads here. To add all these income heads that you see here, all you need to do is go to your accounts, you select new, then you click on income, continue. So this is where you type the account name. So if this is a grant, let's say we have corporate donation from international donor. So let's just use foreign donation. So you click on OK. So you can see a foreign donation under income. So as long as the account type is income, you are good to go. Now there are other expenses you can also incur, which makes a lot of sense. So for expenses too, you can as well add new, then the account type you select expenses. So if there are other account type you want to add, like assets account, you can also add your assets. If there are liabilities account you want to add, you can also add your liabilities account. So that's what you need to know about chart of accounts. Now, the other important account you need to set up is the account that tracks all your donations. So you need to add the names of all the donors. So in QuickBooks, you're going to add all the donor as your customer center. So even though you're not selling to them, you can use them to track all your donors. So that's exactly what this does for you. So you go to new, you select new customer. So under new customer, you add name of all your donor. It doesn't mean you sell to them, but it helps you to track your sources of income. That's exactly what this does for you. So to add your customer, who are your donor, first you enter the name. So let's say we have a donor from Dangote Limited. Is one of our donor. So you add Dangote as a donor on this system. So you click on OK. So let's add another local donor here. Let's assume we also get donation from bankers committee. We click on OK. Let's also say we get our donation from CBN. Now you will notice something, that while Central Bank of Nigeria, while I'm adding each of these donor, there's no need for you to track their opening balances because they are not owing. So it's not like a retail based business where you set to your customers on credit and you expect them to pay you. And aside from that too, you'll notice the currency that we're adding this donor. So the fact that they are in our local currency naira means that whenever we receive donations from them, there's no need for us to track exchange rate because they are set up in naira. So you click on OK. So that's for the local donor. So we've added 3 donor: bankers committee, central bank, and then we have Dangote Limited. So let me edit Dangote Limited. The spelling is not correct. Dangote Limited. Okay, so let's move on to add our foreign donor. New customer will receive donation from IMF. You enter IMF. Our donation comes in US dollar. We select USD. You click on OK. We receive another donation from UNICEF. You enter UNICEF here, and our donation also comes in USD. You select USD. So whatever currency you receive your donation, ensure you select that currency when you're adding your donor. So you come here, we have another donor. So let's say we receive donor from EU, European Union, and it comes in euro. You select euro, you click on OK. So you can see that as an NGO that helps child, the little children, to go back to school, to care for them, we receive both local donor from bankers committee, international donor in euro and in USD from EU, IMF, and UNICEF. So this is how you add your relevant. So if there are other donors, to ensure you add the donors and their currencies. It's very important. Why you need to add currency is that whenever you are receiving this donation. System should be to track the currency that you are receiving this donation. I've seen some NGO records where all the local donor and international donor were actually set up in naira. Although that's not bad, but to an extent, it might lead to manipulation, because if we are receiving that currency in USD and you immediately transfer or immediately convert it to naira, at what rate are you going to use? So you might, some might probably end up using a lower rate so that they could probably get a gain. I might sell that currency for 443 and then tell the MD or post it in the system that I'm selling it at 440. The 3 naira difference is my own profit. So it makes a lot of sense for you to receive the currency exactly as it is. Then even when you do your conversion into your home currency, you should be able to do it in such a way that system will even track the exchange rate used. And if there are documents that you feel at the process of selling that currency, you can also scan the document and attach there. All this I'm going to explain when we get to transaction properly. So what we're doing here is we are doing the basic setup that will lead us to transaction posting. So you need to pay attention, and whatever you do here will determine your financial reports. And you need to ensure that all your setup is accurate from both from the banking end to the chart of account setup to your donor. And then the next part is your service provider. So your service providers are the relevant vendors, people that provide services to you. So, for instance, let's say child education care, we wanted to build primary school in Maiduguri. There's a company that will be involved in that project. We're going to pay a company. So, let's say we are paying Julius Berger to help us build um, a primary school. So Julius Berger is going to be treated as our vendor. So they are service providers or product suppliers. Now, in which currency do we pay Julius Berger? We pay them in naira. So you leave it like that. Now, if I'm also going to employ the service of another vendor, oh, I'm sorry, this was supposed to. Let me delete this quickly. Julius Berger is not a customer. Julius Berger is a vendor. So you go back to your home, you go to vendor center. So not customer, you go to vendors. Sorry for that. So your vendors are service providers. So you need to go to vendor to add that. So you go to add new vendor. So you set up Julius Berger. You pay them in naira. You click OK. So if I also employ the service of a training institution, another, let's say Macmillan or University Press, who is a printing company, University Press Limited, to help us print textbooks, we can also add them as a vendor. So anybody that renders services to you or supply the product that you need to carry out your course is a vendor. So ensure you set that up properly on the system. So we've added our customer who are our donor, we've added our vendor, our service provider. Now there are important things you need to add, which is very important, which is critical. Note, when you are setting up QuickBooks for an NGO project, it's a very important part of an NGO. Why? Every NGO is expected to account for the naira spent on every project, on each project. So if you receive a donation from EU, you are expected to report back to EU on how that money was spent. So depending on the proposal behind that donation, you are supposed to add the projects that particular donor is sponsoring. So let me explain that. If I go back to customers, now let's assume that EU, we have a major project that is coming up under EU, and we have funds that we are expecting from them. Let's say EU expected to give us 100,000 euro to fund, um, let's say child learning program. We want to hire an instructor. We want to hire want to probably build schools for children who are less privileged, or children in northern area who have been displaced by the crisis in that area. And then we are expecting 100,000 euro. For instance, okay, let's just say it's 1 million euro from the European Union. Now, European Union cannot just give us 1 million euro and we go and sit down and spend the money anyhow. It doesn't. There's no way. We are supposed to account for that money, how it was spent, and then send a report back to EU, so that if we need to execute another project tomorrow and we need a fund from EU, they would be ready to give us that fund, because the initial one they gave to us was actually channeled to the cost for which that particular fund was sent. So that's why it's important for you to focus on project reporting. Now, how do we add that project under EU? When you go to QuickBooks, you see what we call job. Just like a real estate developer, if you have watched the video on QuickBooks for real estate, you would see that aside from adding your customers, you can actually add the projects you are executing for each of your customers. For instance, if Lagos State is our customer or our client, and Lagos State is giving us a project to construct a bridge, we can add bridge as a project. The same Lagos State as a customer is also giving us a project to construct new schools, new ministries, and also all the projects we are executing under Lagos State as a customer. We can actually add those projects and map them or categorize them under Lagos State. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. Every project that we are going to be executing with the funds sent in by EU, we're going to add them as a job. So when you come to add new customer and job, you click on add job. So the job is what represents is the job is used to track the project. So here we're going to call it child education program. This child education program is sponsored by who? European Union. So select European Union, then you click on OK. So you can see child education program under European Union. You can see. So if you also have a project that the EU is sponsoring, or central bank is sponsoring, or bankers committee, will depend on so as an NGO, you have to go beyond just the donor and also the fund received to tracking the specific projects that those funds were meant for, or those funds were actually designed to finance. So that's why project costing is important. So if I also have a project that IMF is going to finance, I'll go to new, add a job. So if IMF is also sponsoring, let's say library, children library at Borno, for instance. So this is sponsored by IMF. I can also put IMF, but since we've added a foreign currency donor, let's go with a local donor. Let's say Dangote Limited. So you type Dangote Limited here. Sorry, because the foreign currency is in US dollar. So let me cancel Dangote Limited. You click on Dangote Limited first, then you come here, add a job. So this is children library. So you first click on the name of the donor, then you click on add job. So Dangote Limited, you then click OK. So we've added the project under. So that's how you add each of the projects that the NGO is currently executing under their relevant donor. So you need to note this is very, very important. This is it's extremely important, because there is no way you receive funds from this donor without accounting for the usage of that fund. So, and for you to account for the usage of that fund, you need to add the project under the donor. Now, the relevance of this is that whenever I am receiving a fund or I'm receiving donation, I can mark a donation to either children library or child education program. And if I'm also incurring expenses, I can map it to children library or child education program, so that at the end of the day I can generate income and expenditure by projects. If I go to this report and I check my you can see which is profit or loss by job, or I can as well say job profitability reports. So this will show me all the income all the money that I've received from different donor on a particular project, and also the expenses I've incurred on that project. So that is what I'm now going to send to them and say, oh, you sent in 100,000 euro, we're able to spend this amount, and then this is what we have in excess in our account. So that's how to set up different project. Now if this NGO is also located in different region, so if the NGO has different branches or different centers across different region, either within the state, within the country, or abroad, you can use what we will call the class feature. So if I go to edit, preference, accounting, and I'll activate the class feature. What does the class feature means? The class feature helps you to track projects by either department or location. So if the project is executed in Nigeria, let's say we have the NGO in Lagos, we have in Abuja, we have and all that. So if I'm posting a transaction, aside from the fact that I can actually map it to a particular project, I can also select the location of that project. I can say, oh, this project is actually currently going on in Lagos, is going on in Abuja, is going on in Port Harcourt. So that's what the class is there for. So if I go to my list and I select class list, so with the class list now, I can now add different location of that project, or where the NGO has different centers. So I can say they have a center in Lagos, and click on Lagos. They have a center in Abuja, so I can enter Abuja here. They have a center in Jos. I can also post Jos, and also they have a center in Maiduguri, or they have a center in Borno. So let's say they have a center in Borno. So enter. So this is location. So if I'm going to receive funds, you're going to see how I'm going to map it to projects and also map it to different location. So these are some of the basic setup you need to understand when you are setting up QuickBooks for NGO. Now, with what we've added here, we can receive funds from NGO either in our local currency or in foreign currency. We can deposit the fund into our bank account. If the local currency is going to a local currency account, if it's a foreign currency, is going to a foreign currency account. Now, because we're not going to be spending the money in foreign currency, I will also show you how to transfer the fund from foreign currency into our local currency account. So that means you want to sell the dollar either to the CBN, to your bank, or to the bureau de change. Depending on the rate you're selling to them, that the naira equivalent will be added to your account. Then you can start spending the money from your bank account. And now, if you're going to be spending the money, I'm also going to show you how to map these expenses to the relevant project, so that you don't just say, oh, we spent 1 billion in the construction of a classroom, and then we don't know what the classroom is there for. So is the classroom for child education project? Is a classroom for child library? What is it meant for? We need to be able to state the project and the location. Oh, is this in Lagos? Is it in Abuja? Is it in Port Harcourt? So depending on the location, so that helps you to organize your record in such a way that you can generate financial reports and then send it back to the donor. So when next you need funds from them, they will be able to provide more funds. So, and that also ensures that there is transparency in your accounts. So this explains the setup for an NGO. So whether it's a local NGO or it's an international NGO, whether you receive local donation or you receive foreign donation, everything I've set up here clearly demonstrates how to set up QuickBooks for an NGO.